Hey guys, this is Turok, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing One Piece chapter 1171. We've reached the end of the flashback basically now. Uh, so yeah, spoilers ahead on that. I keep forgetting sometimes. Yeah, this is I want to say that briefly, but yeah, the this whole arc, this must be like the longest flashback Oda's ever done. I think we did about 18 chapters, and it was amazing. And I didn't really expect us to get so much about rocks in this one, and I really wonder if we'll get a little more of that stuff with that later with Loki and talking about how he was inspired by rocks here. Maybe Luffy will finally learn about rocks. I'm sure he's never heard of rocks because by the time he was learning about stuff, it was everyone always was just talking about like Roger. Rocks was always it was kind of like not in the public perception anymore because most people who would remember him were so old would be Garp's age or like that mayor. The mayor of a future village would probably tell him about it. But anyways, uh, this is a yeah. Let's just get into this. There's just so much here I want to think about, but it's like amazing. It's just like I want to do a separate video at some point, I guess, on rocks and the flashback and all this stuff and and especially Harold, because this was really Harold's flashback as much as that, because we saw these two people go down who wanted to change the world in a sense, and they both got obstructed by Emu, and it's just like very sad to see how this happened because we learned to like I said before I definitely respected Rox more after seeing hit that compared to someone like Emu or Doflamingo, he had a family. He cared for his family, so he seemed very. At first, we seemed like someone that we wouldn't care for, but like because he had gathered this crew to become king of the world, but maybe he actually wanted to change things too. So there's some parts in this then of I got the unofficial one here that was also kind of like a little some of the stuff in there I like a little better. Come on, get over here. So anyways, we finish off here shortly at where the remaining people here. So we do have some soldiers left too. I thought all of them were killed. I forget how many. I think I was just rereading it earlier. I think Hyrule said about over 100 people, all these guards' lives were taken by Herald. Well, no, he thought Loki did it, but then, no, it was probably all Harold, right? Because that's right. So this is a part that's very interesting too. Is like now Hyrule knows the whole story. This whole story was that Loki went on a rampage in here and Harold and got killed, but now we saw it was a complete flip. Loki did not want this story told, and and he will see here. I don't know what he expected the country to do though without him. But anyways, we'll go into that in a minute. So this is I think that's Scopper. That's not Ace. I mean, Shanks, right? I think that's Scopper saying that like how, oh, he's saying like, oh, we stopped him. I can't believe we were able to stop him. If we hadn't been able to, that he would have been. This is where the unofficial one says it. He would have brought great calamity to the world. But I think it's like no. I think he would have just stopped after that. I don't, he's you can tell he doesn't fully understand how the God's Knights work either, because it's like no, he's trying to. It's too bad Harold couldn't. I don't think Harold did tell him. He should have said like, no, their plan is to use me. No, he didn't. He said that to Loki. Their plan was to use me to bring the giants under my control. So then, yeah, Scopper shows here like so. Apparently, you can tell here too. Scopper, when him and Roger and the others had fought the God's Knights before, they must have always just chased off the other guys, sent them with their tail between their legs. They never actually killed any of them. And he says that I can't imagine. It was hard to imagine that there ever would be a way to actually stop one of them completely. Someone with the covenant here, and so we while he's doing this, we get a great shot here showing all the destruction going on that happened as they all tried to all these guards that tried to lay their life down to try and stop him, and so the others are walking around together like looking at what happened. And okay, you can see Jarl. Yeah, Jarl still's got Harold's sword in him there at this point, so and it's gonna stay there until the present point. And so the Scopper Shanks here saying to Jarl, like, "Did you know? Did you know the treasure of Elbaf had such power? Yeah, would that be that powerful?" And Jarl, like, not that I had heard. So I wonder if Jarl at this point had actually understood what the treasure could do as well. Oh, by the way, did I? I don't. I think I put. Yeah, I did put this in the last video. I forgot. I've been hoping for a while that this zone. I think this is like a mythical zone, and it kind of looks like it is. But I was hoping this would be Jormungandr, the hold on a sec, the world serpent. But it looks like I caught what other people are suggesting is that what that silhouette was I saw is actually that Loki's probably turns into a wolf. He's probably Oda's incorporating Fenrir, the wolf that is supposed to at Ragnarok would fight against Odin, and actually Fenrir actually, for those who don't know, is the son of Loki in that myth. But now Oda's incorporating it this way. And if that's so, that's mildly disappointing to me because I wanted to see. I don't know why. I just thought Loki would be cool as a giant serpent thing. Because Loki's this is interesting too because Loki in the myths is a shapeshifter who can turn into many things. He does. He isn't the horse. Is that horse his kid too? I forget now. But I remember he can shapeshift into other animals. Like the other one I remember off the top of my head was the story of how he when the two dwarves and they got the ones in the God of War games shoot, now I'm blanking on their names. They're the ones that make Mjolnir, and they Loki turned into a fly to stop the interfere in Mjolnir's forging, and that's why he has a short handle in the original mythologies. I don't think they ever explained that in the Marvel comics, by the way, if Mjolnir is supposed to have a long handle. They just have it. They always just had Loki, Thor in the comics and the MCU movies just have that hammer that way, and it's just normal. Personally, I think that if I was someone in that position of having a sword made like that, I'd try to see if they can make it have a collapsible handle so you can make it long when you feel like you need to, or have it short in the way it is in the other versions like the MCU and the comics and the God of War games, how Mjolnir looks. I would probably want to have it a little longer handle to have a little more reach. But I guess Thor's always been good at being up close and with that. So I especially like how this the weapon Loki has in One Piece, which I think is supposed to be the stand-in for Mjolnir, Ragnir. I do like how they have the design here, which that's the I think would be my preferred version of having that weapon. Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, Fenrir. That would be cool if that's Fenrir. I'm wondering if that is true. Then that's what Loki's power is. The secret fruit he just ate. I wonder how Oda will try to incorporate Jormungandr into here. He seems to be trying to incorporate a little bit of everything from the Scandinavian Norse mythologies. So I'm curious now if now that it seems that I'm wrong with what I was hoping for, that how Oda will do that. So anyways, as this stuff's going on, so yeah, Oda's still also just like going around this skittering. What's the word? Going around this with the devil fruit is. He's gonna have some big reveal soon. I was hoping we'd get it in this chapter, but we do get a cool moment with Loki at the end, but it's not with the devil fruit yet. It's with Ragnir, and so now we get this an interesting moment here with Shanks is like thinking back this. So Shanks feeling a lot of guilt here, and I could zoom in on this now actually, and so he's remembering how he was talking to Harold at one point, probably after I think this looked like this might have been part of that conversation where, because him and Harold, so when him and Shanks and Harold were talking at Marijwa, Shanks was putting on that persona of saying like, oh, don't talk to me like you're the equals and stuff. But then when they got away from the Holy Land, Shanks was able to talk to him in person. They connected here, and he's thinking back. He's like how Harold had all this hope on there, and then he thinks about what these people really like. So we get a great little shot here where after he had come back to Marijwa to like say, hey, I'm your long lost son, we get a shot here of Garling. And Garling actually looks kind of cool there. I like the way he's drawn anyways. He looks like I'm still surprised too that he's never got the immortality power, because like he's now with he probably does now, because if he's accepted now that he's one of the Gorosei, he's probably been allowed into the final covenant. He's probably like all this time, I think that we've seen him in the flashbacks, only had probably the second covenant, and so he's here, and he's like, and he's saying, you can see him, he's like, at some point here, he's welcomed, he does welcome Shanks back in there, and he's like, oh my gosh, son, it's so great to see you. Is there anything you want? Like, you've been so deprived. And he got this shot here. He goes back to Shanks here, and not in the present, but back in this, because there's a flashback and a flashback, and he's like thinking about this covenant and what it means, and then you keep getting a little more stuff here from the Garling, from when he talked with Garling, and like, oh, don't worry about those people down below. So maybe Shanks had something about wanting to help people or something, and he's like saying, oh, what? I'm guessing Garling was shocked at that. It feels like this, because we just get this, we don't get to see Shanks make any kind of request right here. But then we have Garling's thing saying, oh, don't worry about those people down below. They're not the same as us. And so he's there. He's probably like, he's having like a moment. This is like what Nami when she, after Arlong backed out of their deal, and you can see he's having the same moment where you probably think he's going to maybe cut his own arm off, and then Nami didn't do that, but she stabbed herself in the shoulder. But, yeah, Scopper sees it, and it's like, this is not something that, this is something that's happened before, because Scopper says, don't do that to yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Don't you dare regret your birth. And then Shanks just lets loose on him a little bit, like, why did this have to happen? He didn't deserve this. And he goes on, like, if only I'd... Now, I'm a little confused in that bit. I'm like thinking, did he think he should have stopped Harold from even being able to take the depths thing? Maybe he feels like if he had stopped Harold from doing that. Right, okay, that is a good point. There's something here I overlooked. I was kind of thinking about this, but I think what Shanks is getting at here is that, because remember, Shanks loses his left arm in, what is it now? It's about 5 years from here is when he's going to meet Luffy, and he still has that covenant. He has the Shallows one. So, but we saw that Harold here could not be defeated because he had the second one. So maybe Shanks is thinking if Harold was only in the had the Shallows covenant as well, they could have just cut that arm off, and then they would have stopped him from having to be killed. Oh God, that's really good, because like that means, because he kept healing, even when they cut his arm off, they did cut it in the last room. And that was something else good I missed too. I remember I was watching I think it was Tekking. He made a great observation I totally missed. Where was it? So when he cut right there, yeah. If you look here, when he's being beat up, wait a minute. When he's getting attacked here by Loki, when I can't think of the word. When the tattoo is damaged, it seems to slow down the healing. It still will happen. Now that he's entered a second covenant, it's impossible to kill him. Well, normally it's like impossible for someone like whatever Loki's got now allowed him to do it. So maybe it's a combination of the fruit and Ragnar. We don't fully understand it yet, but that was something interesting there. I didn't catch it. It did look like that he can always heal no matter what. So it's very interesting that, because my point is that Loki's Shanks gets his arms eaten by that sea beast, and it doesn't grow back. So if you have the Shallows covenant, you don't get any of the healing abilities yet. Is there a strength enhancement from that? At least I think there was just that, and then also if you're in, Shanks was talking about maybe if you're in close to Holy Land, he was concerned that Emu could control them, but so that's very interesting there. But anyways, that's probably what he's getting at there, and partially he also just feels It's also this. It just sounds like one of those typical moments where like, oh, I was too weak to do anything. But yeah, he looks like he must have. In the years since he's figured out he's a celestial dragon too, he's really like he does not like his. Much like Bonnie probably is gonna have to deal with a bit now. Now that she learned the truth through Kuma's flash memories, that they gotta deal with this idea that they have these celestial dragons' blood in them, and these despicable people at the top of the world treating them, parading around as gods. And so Shanks here, yeah, is definitely feeling that guilt here, and I feel bad for him too because I wish we would have known more about his mom. It's very sad how you can see how cold they are when so Scarper's like don't beat yourself up all like this. You have a role to play in life. You can't just like you gotta keep yourself level-headed and keep moving on, kind of thing. And then someday you'll find what your goal will be. Oh, by the way, he doesn't have the straw hat here, does he? Oh, did he leave it behind at Scarper's house? I wonder. I didn't even notice that because I know he's still wearing a hat at other times. He still hasn't given to Luffy yet. Obviously, Luffy at this point would be No wait, no yeah because he still got his arm down. I'm trying to get the math right. So wait, it's Luffy's 19 now. Okay, no, I said 5 years. I said that so wrong earlier. So this is would this be 2 years before he gives the hat to Luffy? I think, right? No. Shit, how many years ago was that? It was 10 years ago. 12. Yeah, no. Oh god, yeah, I said that so wrong. This is 2 years before he gives the hat to Luffy, not 5. I always get the math wrong when I'm trying to. So bad at the math thing. So yeah, Shanks probably like feels. Shanks, I wonder if after he gave Luffy the half, he felt like that was my thing. Scopper was talking about. I had to find the next generation. And like he says to Whitebeard later, I gambled on the next generation when I sacrificed my arm. So he's feeling that guilt here, and I'm glad they're fleshing out young Shanks this way because we don't see much Shanks now. We don't know what he's up to. Or we know what he's up to. He's planning on going after the One Piece apparently, but we don't know why yet. Now we got Loki having a guilt too because he had to kill his dad here specifically, and you really see him mourning here. And this is he's going over the same thing like, oh, this is what happens for loving your country like this. This just isn't right. And yeah, we see. So he didn't. So he wait, where was that shot before? So I thought he like maybe minced him entirely to pieces. No, okay, yeah, no. This shows him smash right through with the hammer. That's the thing too. I still don't understand if really it's the power of the hammer that finished him because they say here, oh, does the treasure of Elbaf really have such power? But it seems to me it's more of the what the hammer did the work. Well, I mean, his strength now is probably improved by being if he's got an ancient zone. But he yeah, hopefully we'll figure out later what the key is here that Loki has to defeating a God's Knight. I want to know if there's something here that Luffy and Zoro, Sanji can incorporate in their fights because they're like the same. And the same, of course, will probably apply to Dragon and the others. Will they even be able to strike a blow at the at the world government if they can't even stop the God's Knights? If they only can send them packing and not like kill them, it's going to be like it's going to be futile basically. So like I can't wait to figure out if it was this devil fruit itself that embodies some weakness, some kryptonite to the against the God's Knight's power, or if it's the weapon. Like it just feels like the weapon at this point, but it'll be interesting to find out what that is. So now we switch to the stuff here, and we get some interesting. This is some interesting lore here is dropped to us. A few pieces here, and the main thing, not the main thing. The first thing here is like, Emu is in disbelief that Harold was defeated. He's like, he was an ancient giant, and he had been given one of my strongest covenants, an immortal body, and he was still defeated. What is going on there in Elbaf? So like this is really cool because it's like it's even things that Eam doesn't understand. Like there's this devil fruit. This lends me to think too. I wonder if devil fruits are something that he doesn't that were new things. Because remember, he was always upset too about the. I'm thinking about the how the poneglyphs were this stuff that was scattered by Nefertari Lily, and I'm thinking with the devil fruits powers that were spread across, and there's some they were like this last thing from the ancient kingdom to get out there before before they were destroyed utterly by Eam and his forces apparently, and so he's having this conference kind of with the Gorosei here. So we see all 5 of them here. So they've been here. So we do know that they've been here a long time. These 5. We already knew it was Saturn, but now we see the others here. The original 5. And so the others are like, the others say, we'll begin an investigation. And we can send somebody over there because Harold's Abyss is still intact. So that's interesting too. That's the next thing, a little lesser thing. But they're able to figure out if an abyssal pentagram is still there. They know, they can sense when those things are still there somehow. And then the Emu's like, nope, don't do that now. Emu's like, at this point, I will only mean the death of more knights. And then here, this is a really important one. He says, performing a covenant inflicts a cost on Mew as well, meaning himself. He does the third person thing. Wait a minute here. I like how this is too in the unofficial one. It comes with a price must be paid even for myself. So at this point, Emu, this explains something I was kind of thinking about before. So Emu at this point probably feels like, okay, something was wrong here. It wasn't in the cards to have Elbaf yet, I guess. So he's going to patiently wait, and now at this point in the present, he's decided, okay, now is a good time to go and try to regain Elbaf. But also, as he's going to explain here, it seems to me he's like wants to do it a different way now. So he's going on to say, so let's see. Yeah, so he goes on saying, oh, Harold chose to debase himself before humankind. So he's just saying like he wasn't really one of us because he's getting out here like the mentality. He wants people that join them to start and embracing this idea that they're gods. If the fact that he's saying like Harold still wanting to help humans or people down below any of the races would just prove that he wasn't really one of us. He didn't have the faith or something like that. The mentality that we really want in one of our knights and such. So this made him a heretic. They even use that word here. So he's like his tribe. This tribe is of warriors who are merely always want to battle. So he said we cannot just carelessly incorporate them in the government because he doesn't want to ruin. He thinks that having them there will ruin his little perfect world. Yeah, I kind of get this idea too here. I like this because he's got that little garden room that Emu just sees the world as his own garden, where he wants to just have everything perfect, and he wants to weed out the Will of D and the poneglyphs and all this stuff here. So there's something with that where he's really I think that's why partially you could tell he probably waited up until now to get them back. Now I wonder if still that was the idea that I suggested before, was to get Loki to be a knight and then have Loki forcibly control them. I'm curious what the intent was there when they sent Shamrock and Gunko to try to impress him into the service as a god's knight and take D. That's something too. Would they have been able to give him the Shallows covenant themselves? If he agreed, would they have just brought him with them? Because they can't bring him though, because he didn't have a covenant. They can't travel back the way they came if they try to take him before Mew, because they did that. They somehow did that with Harold here. So, anyways, yeah. The main thing is, I think they probably want to just now instead have they want Elbaf for its military force, but it looks like Emu's here saying, we tried this route, I tried to have a king, but I think we gotta go a different way from now on. Then the next time we try to bring the Elbathian people to under my control. So, and he keeps going on like, yeah, this wasn't working. And he's like, yeah, an ancient giant that took my gift. We may never see it again. He was a king that the Elbaf should have never had. Yeah, and then he goes on. This is the interesting part. It's like, history doesn't lie. Our kinds are incompatible. And here you get this very dramatic thing. Elbaf is of the D, or yeah, that's the unofficial version. So we have to stop here too. So Elbaf probably was an ally to the ancient kingdom somehow. So there's something here too I wanted to bring up. I was been pondering this recently about the poneglyphs, the road ones. So the road poneglyphs, I was looking over where they are and what that stuff, and because we still don't know who has the last one. And then something was bugging me was that I wondered where Big Mom got her poneglyph from. Because if you look at where the other three, one of them's different, I'm missing them. If you look where the three of them, where one was, the on Wano, and one was one is on Zoe, and the one that was with the fishmen. These are all places that seem to have definitely Wano and the fishmen. They were allies to the ancient kingdom or Joy Boy. So I've been wondering was the fourth one held by somebody else before it was given to Big Mom? Maybe given to Big Mom. I'm thinking my initial thought was maybe Pudding's dad had it. Maybe meaning the Three-Eye Tribe. I was wondering if that would have been a wedding gift he gave to Big Mom when they got married, and then they had Pudding, but meanwhile Big Mom really just wanted Pudding to because she found out somewhere about how they can read the poneglyphs, and now I'm wondering, maybe I was thinking what if the Giants had it and then somebody gave it to Big Mom, or maybe she came back and stole it because she was there at some point. Maybe she learned about it. I was thinking for a moment maybe Loki gave it to her too. I know because Loki wants them. We found out later. We found out before that how Loki almost married Big Mom's daughter. Was it Lola? Is that her name? One of the twins. The one we met at Thriller Bark. I was just thinking, did the Giants have that? Because they would make sense since Emu says they were of the D clan. So back to the main question I wonder if Big Mom did not find that red poneglyph and got it from somewhere else, the road one, because the other ones were all in the hands of allies of or two of them still are, of allies to the ancient kingdom. So now we got this understanding here too that probably this makes sense too when it comes to Giants because they want their own freedom. They've been unallied with anyone for a long time. I think it's just what Emu's kind of getting at here too is that he does not want to deal with. He doesn't like the idea that these countries, there's these places out there that would not want to willingly join into the government. He sees any kind of freedom or mentality like that as something that's abhorrent and against it's against his what's the right word? His views on how humanity and stuff should be. So now we go back to Elbaf here, and we have everyone in the castle talking together, and the others. Loki here has made his decision not to tell anyone, and so the others I think that's Jarl saying this will lead to great unrest, and Loki says, "Well, I made my decision. I'm going out to sea." And the guards here, I'm going to take them all with me. Everyone that knows the truth is coming with them, I guess. And the question here, too, then, is where are these guys now? Because Loki is back in Elbaf now, and I wonder if the ones he takes with him end up dying somewhere. And Jarl says, but what about Harold's wishes that he told us before you killed him? And Loki's like, I can't do that. He's being steadfast in his decision that, I don't want the people to know what happened to Harold, what happened to Dad. I don't think it's right that they realize this king that spent the last what is it has been like 8 decades trying to build up these relationships, um, that they realize he was turned over to this dark side kind of thing. He'd rather take on the guilt than have Harold's memory ruined by saying, oh, in the end he just was this fool that fell prey to the evil and kind of thing. Went down the wrong path. So he's telling everyone here, please don't. It's almost like, almost all like making a pact. We're never going to tell the truth here. So it's apparent, apparently, you can see, that Shanks and Scopper and Jarl decide to, not speak, respect his wishes. That's what word I'm looking for. And so Jarl says, what will happen then if you don't do that? You'll take the blame for it. And Loki's like, well, they already think I'm terrible anyway, so this will only just like be this will be like the final nail in the coffin, really. And Loki's just kind of downing himself here. You can see he's kind of like, well, do you really think I have what it takes to become the king and carry on my old man's deals? But it's like, I don't think I can, but I'll find another way and to go out there and carry on his will. And so he plans on going out to avenge his dad. So it appears here that Loki's whole goal is that he was planning to go and take on the God's Knights. I wonder if he can talk with Shanks about this, because he says, I'm going to go avenge my dad and his soldiers. And from there he just gets up and walks away with the men there. So I really respect this scene too, because I like that it shows these men just go with him. Oops, wait a minute, go back. We see him walking away with the remaining men there, and Jarl's there trying to stop him, like, wait, well, you can't just do that, Loki. You're going to go up alone against the world government? Do you know how big they are? And we see Shanks and Scopper. They're not saying anything to object to his wishes on in this part. And it's very respectful there. I like it. Now it just really leads to so much confusion in my head about what happened with him and Shanks. Because Shanks, I think it's 6 years from the present where Loki was captured and brought back. So he's out there for 8 years. Yeah, he just leaves. We don't know what happened to his crew either. I feel like this is going to be a flashback they're going to have to fill in. Oda will fill in a little bit at a later time. I really hope to figure out what caused him to have to be brought back. Like, I know that the people of Elbaf want to go after him. Maybe Hyrule and the others even try to pursue him once they come back and hear about what happened. But, like, what got Shanks involved? So then we cut to a later point where the other citizens have found out what happened after Jarl probably had to come out and say what happened. Well, he did, of course he would, because he's still there. So then that's just it. We cut back, and we go back to the underworld, and we got Loki saying, I just left. And then by the time you return, Haroden, I'm sure you probably heard about Loki the Father Slayer. I certainly did enough to convince him I was capable of it. And then he's like, but come on, you don't really think I would go that far to celebrate killing my own father, right? I just didn't want to do anything he did to be undone. And then he says, what do you think? Do you think I should have told the country what happened there? About what really happened? And then we really get a good moment here with Hyrule, like this, absorbing all this. This is probably just so much to take in. He's had the last 14 years thinking Loki went so far, and he doesn't say anything initially. And we get Scopper there saying, what he's saying is true, Hyrule. Like, I was there. I'm sure he kind of maybe says that. Maybe I'll have him elaborate that better later. Like, I was there. Jarl will tell you too if you really press him as well. And so that's something too. Jarl has just been going along with this all this time too. So that's like something like that I hope we bring up later. Like, Loki, I wanted to respect Loki's wishes because he's the king. sort of. That's what we gotta do. Otis should do a chapter called "Return of the King." No, how would you feel? Yeah, something like that. Because there's been no one, kind of a Aragon moment where he takes the throne, huh? And so Loki goes on by saying, "Don't you get it? I didn't want to have to bring all this back up. I didn't want the truth to come out." Wait, I'm going the wrong way. So yeah, now Harun's like, "I see now why Jarl argued for your clemency." So probably meaning maybe they were planning on like giving him a death sentence, like executing him when they brought him back, but and he continued to protect you from probably being that kind of punishment. So then he's like saying, "So I understand now. Father chose to die over the manipulations of the world government." Well, yeah, he had no choice in that way. Let me say, what is it? This part, I keep rereading this part, I'm still not sure. And then he's like, "And ever since, the government has been Elbaf's enemy." Well, yeah, it always has been, really. So I think this is Harold saying, Harun saying, like, well, how do they manipulate him like that? So like, what is he trying to say? That he doesn't understand what they were, well, yeah, we don't have Harold's side of the story now. Shit, we need, well, wouldn't Scopper know a little bit of it? I think that's what he's saying here. Like, I think he was about to explain, like, the powers that they were given, the Herald was given. And so, these newly arrived gods. Yeah, I think he's just going over, like, the God's Knights, they're the pivotal thing you need to understand. They are, yeah. Anyways, and then, but Harun's like, "I don't need you to explain that now, Mr. Ya. I don't need a reason to protect my holy land." And we get this great shot with the others where they're like, "Okay, now we're gearing up to the point where everyone's going to go like, all right, we're going back up there now." And so now we get the shot. Haruden takes Loki's keys off himself. I really like how this symbolism is. And he said, I know we've never, I can see how one thing we always could see eye to eye is that we both loved our father. So I'll apologize for that. So I want you to fight with me for Elbaf's sake. There's just this moment where Loki doesn't even say anything. He's just like looking at himself like, after all this time he's been like chained up there. And then Luffy just like breaks the ice by saying, "Way to go, Loki, now you can fight with us." And then the moment's broken up by this weird howling, and we have that something drop down. It's the what's the one called again? I think it was called the let me pull it up again here. The Drugger, I think it is. It's the one that showed up in the Western Village and attacked the citizens there. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Wait a minute. Yeah, the Drugger is the one that showed up here. I thought this thing got defeated by. Well, yeah, of course, but it would reform. But I think this thing was fighting with Dorian Bragi last time they showed it. I was trying to look up where it went, but now it's got knocked down into here, and and so now this is the first time I guess these guys are actually seeing one of these things. Yeah, he did say Drugger right there. I just looked up but I was just but then so yeah, Haru's like, "Wait, what the hell is that? A Drugger?" But those are the stories that they tell us about. But then Loki gets excited and he's like, "Oh, this might be the perfect warm up for me." And he tells Harun, "Go on ahead. I can get up there myself. I can fly up." Oh God, is Oda gonna have him do? I didn't even think of that. No, he doesn't have a handle, like a strap on his hand. Thor hammer. I was just thinking about how in the MCU, Odin, in a Marvel version, Thor with Mjolnir, he swings the sword around and then he has it like momentum pull him around so he can fly, and so he says I can fly up. So it's like that'll be interesting to know how that works. Wait a minute, did they say that here too? Yeah, in the unofficial version, he says, "I'll jump up there." And this one, he's saying, "I'll be able to fly up." And so Luffy's there, like, wait, what the heck is that thing? So he's still there, and then the wait a minute, I'm showing. So the others get together with the their boat thing, and then they wait a minute, what are they saying to him? Oh, so the others apologize for it. So as they're going up, the others say, "Oh, Loki, yeah, we used to say terrible things about you, and we thought you killed your father, our king. We're all sorry about that." And Haruni has to keep. I love how Oda always has a character say, "Oh, but only for that thing. All those other crimes are still horrible, and we don't forgive you right now." It's like, okay, guys, come on. You can get over that stuff. This is, I mean, I don't. I feel bad that he burned down that whole village of his mother's village. But like, okay, I know he was mad at them because that one guy. I did not feel sorry for that one that like was gloating. Oh, we poisoned what's her name, Ito, with this stuff. That one guy though, fuck him. But like, I didn't think he had to burn the whole village down for that. But uh, but then he gets up and like, I feel good now. I finally can free. And Luffy, you can see Luffy's still right here though. So it looks like they don't really show it there. No, you can actually see him. Actually, if you look in front of Stevenson or whatever, I think that's Sanji and Zoro there. And who else was there? Was Nami? Wait, did Nami go down with them? I forget now. Wait a minute, did they show? Oops, I'm gonna go back. Did they show Nami there? I don't know. No, I think Nami. Wait, where was Nami now? Anyways, we get this final shot here. Oh yeah, Chopper was still there. That's right. No, maybe Nami was there. That was because Sanji's here now. So we get this point here where the others are like, hey, Scopper says, "Hey, Doctor, I appreciate your help, but I need to, we need to get out of here." Right. So I need to go check on my son. So Chopper gets Sanji to help carry Scopper's around. Are they gonna go up themselves? Oh yeah, because he's using Geppo. Is that what he call? Not Geppo. Is that what they call the Is that the Cipher Pole version? The Six Powers version? I think that's what it is. And so they're getting out of there. So yeah, Chopper was there. Wait, because Brooks. Anyways, and so then Luffy's here with Loki, and Loki's like, "What are you still doing here?" He's like, "I can't leave now. I want to see how you fight." And he's like, "Fine then, I'll show you my power." And he says, "Ragnar," and you hear the little squirrel sound, and it's like, "Yeah, let's go do this." And this final shot here, Loki jumps up. Look, I like this too. He's got that pose there, the way Oda draws it. He's almost doing like the Nika pose again, and he is. And the final shot, he goes up, he swings at the drugger and uses an attack called Nibelheim, and it just starts cracking it. And I think this is supposed to be a symbolism of how whatever he used on his father to finally defeat him. And I have a feeling what's going to happen here is it's going to utterly dissipate this apparition here. And maybe this will be the next chapter where we'll be able to finally give us a little filling in the blanks of how he's able to defeat these things. Oh, maybe the God's Knights as well, because he does that with the whatever he's doing here. Because the cracks here look very similar to that. Oh wait. Duh, I see what's going on here. I just looked at it right now. He's frozen it, didn't it? So is he doing other elements? Because he used lightning before too. Okay, I thought Nibelheim, because I was looking up, isn't Nibelheim the name of the place that is the dwarf world? Wait a minute. Nibelheim, I was thinking if he's freezing it, when he say like, isn't there an ice region in, isn't that Hell? The one region in, why is this not working? Come on. Okay. I was incorrect in that. It looks like, I thought, I guess there's two versions of saying the same thing. I thought Nibelheim was the place the dwarves were from, but this is apparently because in the unofficial translation I got here, it does read Niflheim, which is supposed to be the ice region, that the primordial region. Yeah, yeah, that's where Hell is. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so he's somehow wielding ice powers as well, though. Is another thing here I don't understand. Now that's gonna be now I'm very confused. Like, is that what he? That's not what he did. Is that what he did to his dad? Then wait a minute. Let's go back a second. No, he looked like he used lightning or something with Conqueror's Hockey and lightning there when he struck down his dad to defeat him. But now he's able to somehow wielding ice too. So now it's like that's why the cracks are there too. I was thinking he was just cracking him the same way he did with when he fought Harold, but it looks like this is actually he somehow can wield some other power. So now I'm even more confused. Is that something? I wonder if he's got to discover to do how to do something similar to Brooke, because Brooke can do some kind of stuff with the powers of the underworld stuff too. I wonder what the correlation here is going to be. So, yeah, I'm perplexed because I totally misunderstood this part when I was reading this, and I need to I can't wait to see what other people say this is. So, yeah, this was a great chapter. I'm glad we rounded up the flashback finally here. And now we're going to get some action. Unfortunately, I think there's a break, so we'll have to wait a couple weeks. But the seeing Loki and Haruden here kind of make amends over the stuff that happened was my favorite part of this. Like, I can't wait to see what's gonna Loki, and I can't wait for Loki to get back up there because I felt bad for him when Shamrock and Gunko were trying to basically torture him to coerce him to join. I'm really waiting for him to like bring that hammer down on them. Well, Shamrock's not there, but Gunko still is. But now she's currently possessed, and that's going to be the thing too. Now, would this power Loki have be the thing that can help change the Domai Reversi thing? Because I was speculating about whether or not hockey can help. Because, well, no, hockey does help. It did help anyways for against them. Yeah, the hockey might help. But I'm wondering if Loki has a way of doing this with whatever Loki's power is, would that make it be like a shortcut of doing it, something that's easier? That's right. So I was mistaken. I'm thinking about the Covenants. The Covenants seem to be something that can't be stopped. Conqueror's Hockey can help harm them, but no, when Roger and Garp use Conqueror's Hockey on rocks, that works. So that I'm just wondering if they're going to have to do that with every single one of those giants individually, or how this is going to work out to reverse them back to normal. Well, I think, yeah, doesn't he have Conqueror's Hockey too, Loki? Maybe. This is going to be something, there's a lot of speculation here now, like what is going to happen here? I've been waiting so long to see this. And, but really, too, I'm wondering if we'll find out more answers, too, about the Galila. Is that what was the giants, the missing giants that they were talking about that Rox wanted to find? Maybe Loki found out some information about that while he was out there. And, yeah, this will be interesting now to see what if Loki will be able to reveal this stuff to the public, his people, when he gets back up there, because they're gonna all be like, "Oh my God, we got enough problems with these other people, but now we gotta deal with Loki." So, yeah, there's just a lot here that's gonna happen. And by the way, I can't believe how big Loki is there. I keep thinking about. I was just rewatching when Luffy and Haruden were fighting in the Coliseum, and I was just thinking, God, if Loki had been there, I don't think anyone else would have been able to fight in that. Like with the height he's at, it's almost like he might be even taller than the Coliseum is. So, yeah, that's it for today. I was just like amazed about this chapter, how well this flashback just went, and yeah, I'm just glad we're out of this, because I kind of been like really excited for I'm just really excited for what's gonna happen, and yeah, thanks for watching.